Ministry of Information, colleagues from Community Water and Sanitation Agency, the media, fellow Ghanaians. I will borrow the words of our president. We want to have a conversation today related to the transformations within the rural communities and small towns, water, sanitation, and hygiene subsector. My colleagues are here. During the question time, they will help me to answer and also provide details. We will look at the outline. We will have a brief background so that everybody will understand what CWSA is. We'll take you through policy reforms in the water, sanitation, and hygiene subsector. We'll look at key projects, and then we will conclude. Community Water and Sanitation Agency was established by an Act of Parliament of the Republic of Ghana, 1998, Act 564. Actually, in the 90s, Community Water and Sanitation Agency and Ghana Water Company were all part of one organization called Ghana Water and Sewerage Corporation. And it was reforms in the 90s that led to the formation of these two organizations. And our mandate, according to Act 564, is to facilitate the provision of safe water to rural communities and small towns and promote water-related sanitation and hygiene practice. Now, I want us to look at access to safe water when we talk about rural communities and small towns. Substantially, I want to differentiate that Ghana Water Company is responsible for providing water to our cities and few of our towns. The rest is under CWSA. As of 2022, the water infrastructure that are available to rural communities and small towns provided by state institutions. And by state institutions, we're talking about CWSA, and then the MMDAs, the Metropolitan Municipal and Disassemblies, and NGOs and religious bodies. All of these put together, we have a total number of boreholes fitted with hand pump. We have 29,785. Small towns pipe water systems, we have 546. And limited mechanized water systems, we have 1,215. Water coverage, I will look at two data that we'll provide, but I will differentiate. We normally compute the coverage of rural communities and small towns. How many people have access and all of that. Now, water coverage for rural communities and small towns based on access to potable water is estimated as follows. Number one, water coverage as estimated by Ghana Statistical Service is 74.4% as of 2021. We took this from the Population and Housing Census Survey. And this coverage covers water infrastructure provided by state institutions like CWSA, MMDAs. We also have some non-governmental organizations. We have religious bodies. We have private sector also providing water. We have individuals. There are even individuals providing water and charging communities. And then we also have self-supplies. There are a number of people who have water in their houses. All of these are captured by Ghana Statistical Service. And that is why we have this coverage, 74.4%. We also have another coverage that we report to our ministry. And that is water coverage as estimated by CWSA. And this is 61.61% as of 2021. This one, because government's role is to ensure that we provide water to everybody in Ghana. And so we capture only the infrastructure that is provided by the states. And by the state, we're talking about CWSA, MMDAs, NGOs, and religious bodies. So we have, once the resources from NGOs and religious bodies are donated and provided, and they provide water facilities. We capture all of these. These are the only ones we use based on our data. The other data provided by private sector, individuals who provide water to communities, and those self-supplies, we do not include them in this data. How many communities are within our jurisdiction? We have a total of 27,570 communities that are supposed to be provided with water in the 16 regions. But according to our data, and according to our estimated coverage, we have been able to reach out to only 17,441. I want to take sanitation a little bit. CWSA is involved in sanitation provision only when it is water related. We are not into refuse management and all of that. And so when we are talking about sanitation, part of CWSA's assignment, we are only dealing with household latrines and then institutional latrines that we provide to schools, clinics, and hospitals. And so because we provide only a small part of the sanitation, we are not responsible for determining the coverage of sanitation. We only provide, contribute to that coverage. Now, the programs we have been implementing, there is one we call Sustainable Rural Water and Sanitation Project, which was funded through a loan obtained by government for us, $41.5 million US dollars, which was completed by 2020. Now, this project was implemented in 11 regions, and these regions are Ahafo, Bono East, Central, Western North, Upper West, Upper East, Northeast, and Savannah regions. On this project, we carried out some sanitation interventions. We did, at the end of the project, we had 21,776 household facilities. There is an improved sanitation facility we call Dignulu. So we focus on that, and we provided this number in all the 11 regions. We also carried out institutional latrines in basic schools. We completed 568 in 224 basic schools in those regions, in the 11 regions. We also achieved 947 open defecation-free communities across those regions. We also carried out hygiene promotion in all the communities that we participated in. I want to show you water coverage from 2000 and up to 2021. I already said from our data we had 61.61%. It means that from our perspective, we are still to do 38.39%, but that notwithstanding, there are a number of other service providers that we have not captured. That has been captured by Ghana Statistical Service. The graph shows from 2000, you can see a steady increase in coverage for rural communities and small towns. Now, we noted that somewhere in 2015, there was a decline, and that decline has been very difficult to deal with. We carried out a number of studies, the World Bank, IRC International, and ourselves, and many other of our partners. We carried out some research to find out what really the challenges are. And those challenges that we noted form the basis for government and our ministry, requesting that we carry out reforms to make sure we deal with those problems. So we'll talk about reforms in the water, sanitation, and hygiene subsector. In 2017, CWSA initiated policy reforms in the rural and small towns water, sanitation, and hygiene subsector to redefine its role. Our role previously was to facilitate. What happens is we support government to provide loans, and then we organize to get these loans applied in communities. We implement water systems. we train communities to manage this water system. The assumption at that time has been that once we involve the communities, they will be able to take care of these facilities as theirs, and then the facilities will be sustainable. But afterwards we realized there were a lot of challenges, and I will share some of the challenges with you. So based on these challenges, CWSA agreed with the sector ministry to initiate reforms and revive the subsector. And the objective is very basic, that we will strengthen CWSA, assign new roles to CWSA and our partners, and also ensure that every investment we applied is sustainable. So in 2019, our board, the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources, and Cabinet gave policy approval to the agency to carry out these reforms. And the major thing, the major reason is for us to expand our mandate. Previously, our mandate did not include management of water system, but now that mandate is part of what we do on a daily basis. Some of the challenges, what were the problems? We have noted that there were frequent breakdown of the water facilities. In fact, there was a water system that was completed in 2016. By 2017, it has broken down. Most of the time, you have the downtime more than 1 month. So it means that a water facility which has been completed will break down 1 month before it is fixed by the communities. We also have noted that we have very high non-revenue, or what we call unaccounted for water. You pump, for instance, if you pump 100 cubic meters of water, at the end, at the customer level, you are able to account for only half of that. It means that 50% was lost, and we call this non-revenue water. And so this is a very big challenge. We have also noted from the studies that we did that there were huge accumulated electricity bills. The initial estimate we did was that a number of the water system, when we put all the outstanding bills they had with either ECG or VRA, we had over 40 million Ghana cedis. We also noted water quality is a problem in Ghana. CWSA uses about, all our sources is about 95% from groundwater. And all the data that we have suggests that about 30% of the groundwater that we have will have high levels of iron, manganese, fluoride, arsenic, hardness, and all of that. And all of these have health challenges. We also know that our surface water sources, of course, we are seeing them every day. And as for that, it's a big issue. But that's the only one we see, the one in the ground, we are not watching it. But we also have those challenges. There were unapproved human activity within the basins that we have these rivers. We have also noted that there are a lot of misapplication of funds within the communities. There were many times I have to go to Parliament to go and answer questions on why communities were misapplying the funds they generate. But it was difficult for me because that was not my mandate. And so it's a big issue. They were not accounting to the assemblies, and the assemblies also did not have enough resources and time to follow up on them. We also have, so that leads to the next problem, inadequate supervision by the assemblies are also challenged with skills to be able to do this. We have a problem with technical and managerial capacity at the community level. In fact, there are a lot of the pumps that we have now, the technology is really high, and even engineers are struggling to understand it. So for them to go and train communities and expect that they will use them is a big challenge. And communities are really unable to deal with this. We also have inadequate financing. Normally when a project ends, that's it. There is no resources to support the communities. And we all know that Ghana is a middle-income country now. All the resources from grants have died. So we are stranded. And these are the big problems. I will show you some of the disturbing photos from these water systems. Already, from the data I gave you, we have some 1,700 of these pipe systems, and these are the states. On the left side, that's what an intake we had in the Damoku Pasa. There's a community that we call Damoku, and then Pasa, there are two large communities. We created that water system, and that is what we saw. But we went in and carried out rehabilitation. So on the right side, you see what has become of that facility. You will see the second one. This is a pump house in OT, abandoned. It's a forest. So we have to go in and then carry out rehabilitation. And you can see on the right side. We also have in Ketekrachi, also in OT region, on the left side, that's also, I'm showing the pump houses because that is where the source is. We have the borehole there, we have the pumps over there. So once it's like this, it means that the communities have abandoned it. But we went in and carried out rehabilitation. We also have from the Volta region, Vaco, also on the left side, a challenge with one of the pump houses, and we carried out rehabilitation. Now, what progress have we made so far? So from 2017 to date,